minority privilege. So Sam, so Sam's response to the question about what he would do in response to the riots was interesting to me. So he said that you would give them a 48-hour destruction window, basically, of just like do what they will for 48 hours and like
That might have been a long time,
okay.
but
So okay, fair enough. But here's an interesting question. If you support kind of statism and democracy, how it sits now, do you know why it was that Trump wasn't able to send in or wasn't able to apply as much force as he wanted to the riots? Did you read the story about that?
I might have. I don't know. Could you refresh me?
So the reason that he wasn't able to really like deploy the full force of the military to the rioters in urban areas um, was because Jared Kushner and a lot of the neocons in his cabinet were telling him that he would hurt. This is directly from WAPO, from Washington Post, that he would hurt his chances of getting the black vote if he sent in troops to stop the riots. Now that I've been taking notes this whole time since the Great Society, we've not donated, but it feels like that, about $23 billion. I don't even know if it's billion or trillion, to be honest with you, but something in that ballpark. Just an insane number. It's probably a trillion to move the black vote incrementally 5% each way for the last 40 or 50 years. Now we're at the point where we're watching major cities burn because we don't want to sacrifice a half a percentage point that we gained from a Candace Owens speech 6 months ago, or a Kanye visit, or a crime reform bill that ticked the vote up a percentage point. And I feel like you're focusing so much on these little percent. Well, let's try to appease the rioters. Dude, they are taking down statues of abolitionists in DC. They're taking down statues of Mexican and Hispanic Catholic missionaries. They don't care as long as the statue is in white. They're tearing it down, dude. So it's not an ideological war anymore. It's literally a cold race war that we're going through right now. So you can accept it or not, but it is here at our doorstep at this point. And I think kind of capitulating to that doesn't give you any more room to fight. Just look at Trump. So that's kind of I guess my question is like if your response is like give them time, like dude, we're not winning the black vote. How can we get minority vote?
So my reasoning for giving them time was not to appease them. It was more so that they're like, I apologize that my camera fell. Yeah, it was more so, yeah, it was more so, to let them know what they're actually doing. Because a lot of these are kids. A lot of these are, kids that think they're having fun in the streets with all these riots. And I think it's fair to give them a short amount of time to clear out, get the message heard that they are committing treason, so that they know in full what they're doing before.
Well, if a group of America First Zoomers got together and thought it would be fun and interesting to burn down buildings, I don't feel like a Joe Biden presidency would say, "Well, give them time. They're just kids." Like, no, dude, they would get Waco'd in about 30 minutes. So
Yeah,
it's like
and
we're playing on totally uneven fields here, and
okay,
it's just like.
But also, you have to remember we're the good guys, right?
You'd have. What does that mean? Like Pizza Face said, what does that mean? Lose gracefully? Lose the same way we've been. I'm tired of losing. I don't like losing, and we are losing, and badly. So I feel like tying
your idea
our
is
hands
just shooting up these kids that don't know what they're like, not giving them time to clear out. Just shoot.
No one said shoot them up. No.
I mean, we've said that we want to bring in the military. I said that I want to give them a fair warning.
Well, I mean,
you're arguing that.
You're pro-military. You're on the right. You probably have you're probably under some notion that our soldiers are well trained and have good judgment. I don't think that bringing in the military means gunning people down in the streets. I think it means restoring order.
So what do you want them to do what the cops are doing and stare them down until hopefully they go home?
Sure, dude. Make the lot, dude. I was at the riots in Dallas. They formed these super cool. What are they like in Sparta? They had like those
shield walls.
They had like the shield wall lines, and they like just like scream at the protesters and like push them back. But like even that is probably like a less than needed response. We probably need more than that. But even that is called like fascist by the left, and you're playing into their game by saying, "Well, just." Appease them a little. No, dude. I think
you have my idea wrong. I don't agree with that. I actually agree with like military force. And when I say military force, I don't mean Yeah, and when I say bring the military, I don't mean stare them down and yell at them. I mean treat them as rebels to your country. Treat them as an invading force. Right? That's why I
Now
want to
you
give them the
sound
time.
now you sound more extreme than I do.
Right.
I
That's
want to
that's
treat
why I
them
was
like a rebel
that's why I was
force.
confused when you said that. I thought you were more
I mean,
against it or whatever
I'm
than I was.
I'm down for that, but I just feel like that moment will never come for you because if like your moment is like, oh, we'll give them 2 days, well, maybe one day. It's like, dude, at this point, they're like tearing down everything we've built for the last 200 years, and we're arguing over procedure tactics. Like I just feel like the time for twiddling our thumbs is kind of over now.
Right, but then coming at it from the knowledge that I want to treat them as an invading threat to our country and use like real violence, not shield wall against them, then does my 1 day window make a little more sense?
I mean, what do you mean real violence against them? Like arrest them for? Yeah, I'm for disbanding the protests. I've been for disbanding the protests since before it was popular in Con Inc. Like I've been for that since the Minneapolis riot started. So I don't know what we're debating. Like, yeah, you're right. We should be breaking them up, but it's like I wouldn't give them nearly as much leeway. And I think you're also ignoring. I think you're thinking that they're coming at it from an ideological point of view when really they're just coming at it from an anti-white point of view. You can tell that when they're tearing down like statues of like abolitionists and people who freed slaves.
Okay, so let's just go to the.
Was that Rice Bandit who was just speaking there?
Yeah, it was.
Some pretty good streaming
Yo!
abilities, Rice Bandit.
Thank
Very
you,
very
big guy.
quick on your feet.
I
Seriously,
love.
very
Yeah, I'm
quick on
so
your
glad
feet.
to talk to you again, especially after that one debate with.
Yeah, dude, that was fun. I'm a little bit calmed down tonight, but no. So Sam proposed an interesting point. You guys came to an agreement towards the end. Sam, you were like, yeah, we at least need like temporary statism, right? And you were like,
Yeah.
yeah, because things are you're right. Okay, good. So the ticking, in my opinion, and I just want to know what your take on this is the ticking time bomb in the room is demographics. So really, you didn't need a strong state response, necessarily when the country was 90% white. You do need a stronger state response as the country gets less and less white and we import people who less and less, as you agreed with earlier, that don't even agree with the conceptualization of the Constitution. So we're importing people who have no respect for anything this country was founded on. So why do you think that would lead to like some non-state libertarian paradise when the country gets less white? And I'm not over here, I hate to even have to like preface and end it with this. I'm not like an ethno state guy. I'm just saying that as the country gets less white, do you think we're going to need less police and less order and less state response? Or do you think these mobs will need to be quelled more and more and the voting populace that would agree to send them is going to dwindle? You know what I mean? Like the demographic thing is going to kick us in the ass at some point.
Yeah. So I think you're using two solutions for one problem. Immigration ban is the solution to the demographics problem in the long term, and statism is the solution to the demographics problem in the short term. So I think it would be more wise to choose one, which I believe is immigration ban. But
I mean, that still wouldn't really. So, like you even used Viktor Orban as an example. He's over here using the state to use to implement tax credits for families to grow larger. Is that something you'd be in favor of here in America, like tax credits to incentivize two-parent households and large child per women, or would that be too much of a statist response for you? Because then you would have to argue that like sometimes statist responses that are good for society still shouldn't be implemented if you're against that. But if you are, then
Well, I guess I would be for it because that is, the nuclear family is the long-term solution for a lot of our problems. So there's your answer.
So you're willing sometimes to put aside your anti-statism if it's for the greater good.
Yes.
Oh, okay. Well, that's a huge red. Well, that's a huge white pill. I'm glad to hear that from you. Okay. Well, I got
What
my
does the
question
term white
answered.
pill mean? I've never heard that.
You never heard white pill before?
I haven't.
It gives
No.
hope.
Oh,
White pill is the optimism pill. That's a oh well, there's a light at the end of the tunnel.
Huh. Okay. Interesting.
That's a white pill. That's a white pill response. Okay. But then you're not even a libertarian. Then you're a statist. Then
not.
you're willing to do
I've-
what's right. What's for,
I mean, I've
for the
I've
betterment
never
of society. Then
I've
sometimes.
never claimed myself to be a libertarian ever. So
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
yeah.
we bullied him into submission. No, just kidding.
No, it's not. It's just
We
thinking
used
about
our
No, I mean,
power.
I've never been a libertarian, but
Okay, it sounded like it, but okay, all right, good deal. I'm
Yeah.
glad that you're willing to do the greater good of society sometime.
Okay, so now we got to go to questions.
it almost bothers me all the people saying like, yes, we changed him and stuff. Like status.
But dude, that's the red pill is like you step in, not the trap, but you're just like, dude, exactly, because it makes sense to institute the one power lever that we have in society right now, the state. And even that's not even fully working. One of the notes I have here is like how are we still at this level with the judiciary where they're just overturning Trump when the left was saying for a year that we had just elected the Third Reich into DC. Like this guy can't even tie his shoes without the courts holding him up. Like,
abolishment.
you know what I mean? Like, then where are the courts? These fashy courts that we've heard so much about? They're not there. So it's just an interesting point.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just realized that some of the questions